I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we are speaking with Dr. Maya Mitra and her colleague and friend, Dr. Robin Gupta, who is the inspiration in part for a wonderful book that she has written. It is called Echoes of the Past. This captivating novel intertwines the lives of two distinguished gentlemen, Niccolo Bardi, a Renaissance Italian sculptor, and Rudy, a 20th century neurosurgeon in England. Despite the centuries that separate them, their stories converge through a shared passion for creativity, art, and the profound impact of their professions. We're delighted to have these very talented people join us here today on Spotlight. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like Dr. Das by purchasing her remarkable book and by subscribing to this channel. Dr. Das, Dr. Sengupta, thank you both for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you again and talk to you.
Oh, it's good to see you as well. And Robin, good to see you as well.
Yes, thank you, Logan. It is a great honor for me to be interviewed by a great actor as well as journalist.
Thank you, sir. The honor is all mine, that's for sure. Now, I'm sure you're very excited about this book. I'm going to ask Dr. Das first to tell the big story to the folks at home, what Echoes of the Past is about, and why you decided to connect a Renaissance artist from centuries ago with a modern day doctor.
Yes, actually, I was interested in, this is my first novel, actually, and then I was thinking about it that my genre is historical fiction, and I will write in that area. So I just took I took some classes on Renaissance. That of course one of the reason, and so I was very much interested in the Renaissance period. But everybody knew the famous Renaissance sculptor. So I thought I will go. I will leave him alone. Everybody has enough to say about him. I'll take somebody else, past him. So I took somebody who was really, his legacy will be going on, and I feel he's a great sculptor, and his legacy will still go on forever. And then I thought that I wanted to do a parallel character. So I thought who else will be the most appropriate. And I know Robin's life, not exactly, I didn't see him from the childhood, but as a classmate. And he was always very energetic and with all inspiration, always running around. First day I was impressed that I wanted to do, there was a, in our first or second year, there is a subject called biochemistry. So I thought, I will be getting that, the first mark in biochemistry. But hey, he just got the gold medal there. So I was very disappointed. Oh, he beat me. So that's kind of, that's a normal thing with the classmate, competing each other. But he excelled. And I told him I didn't know very well all he has gone through his life, but then when I decided that he has done a great job, actually there was surgery and going on brain and everything, but the people were, some people died, some people was named, and so what amazing thing he did. He just did something which people, after getting a little better, they walked nicely and living a normal life, and this was amazing. So this is also art. I think it is surgery also an art, how it deals with the brain, and anywhere in the body anybody doing it, that's also art. So why don't I combine these two people together? So that's what it started. And it started 2019, when I just went for that my inspiration by my teacher that let's go and have some retreat, writing retreat. So where everybody was asked, but everybody left, and then I said, okay, we both will go. Where? To Paris. And so we went to Paris, and then he started writing. The first started writing there in that hotel, which is, I still remember, Opera Hilton. So
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's exciting. Now, Dr. Sengupta, you must be very, very proud that you are memorialized in this book and being part of the story. Tell me about your reaction to Dr. Das making you such a central figure in her book.
Yes, actually, I was amazed that she would compare me with a great Renaissance sculptor, Niccolo Bardi. I mean, he was, his legacy remains all over the Europe and beyond and known. But to compare him with me or me with him is beyond my imagination. But of course, she, as a very good friend, that would consider whatever I did as if it was exceptional. But I thought, as a neurosurgeon, what I have to do, I did. But I did not realize that she was from distant, because I live in England and Newcastle, and she lives in San Francisco in North California. And we had a different route after graduation. And then I was trying to excel in my journey to do something good. And that she was, when she came to know all about these things, and she felt that she must compare me with that great artist. It is her opinion that of me, which make me very humble.
Well, I think you're a very humble man, because I think what you do is actually in many ways more profound. Bardi was working on marble, and it's not a living or breathing being, but you're working on people's mothers, fathers, children, and you're working on a much more delicate medium, blood vessels, tissues, nerves. So what you do is indeed a form of art. Don't you think? I don't want you to have to brag about this, but I think that's an acknowledgement for not only yourself, but other members of your profession.
Yes, sir.
Can I comment in
Sure,
it?
absolutely.
Yeah, actually, of course, he's dealing with the human, but Niccolo Bardi, when he was sculpting, he used to cry and scream and said, "Come alive!" And he said, asked somebody, how could a stone can talk to you? How could that smile and have pain, your expression? As he said, I want to do that. I wanted to bring that kind of expression in the sculpture. And then said, can a stone piece say that? So he asked, do you have a pet? So that person said, yes, I have a cat. So that, how do you know that he or she is in pain or he's hungry? So he said that, oh, there's this expression. So he told that person that, stone talks to me, stone breathe to me. This is alive. And he used to cry, come alive, come alive.
That's interesting. Absolutely. That the artists of that century were certainly looking to replicate life with their creations, that's for sure. And the great ones did. I mean, when you look at the sculptures, and it is quite amazing. But I'll ask Dr. Gupta, do you believe that surgery, when it's performed at its highest level, is of course science, is of course medicine, but of course is also part art?
I think there's a mixture of both. The science, which is wrapped up with the art, That is a beautiful science, because when you look at the brain, when you look at the various parts of the brain, what it creates, what it does, it is a beautiful thing in on the whole body. And then when you look at the explore the brain and see part of the brain and what it does, the function, and it is amazing to see. It is if one sees the art of Michelangelo, as if he was in his work, as if the brain is coming up, that he is a wonderful artist, of course. And then that is the thing what one feels when you look at the brain. And then also the surgeons know that if he moves away from one millimeter here or 1 millimeter there, he can completely change the personality of a life. And so how interesting that it is just like an artist, that he has to put his brush in exactly the same way so that he can bring the life into it. So therefore, the neurosurgeon, as I know it, that I said, this is the way I used to feel. And this is the way we used to feel that, and the smile of the patient after surgery is the reward that you get. This is like nothing can compare.
Amazing. Amazing. It's amazing work. The depth of knowledge that both of you doctors have astounds me. I know you guys take it for granted. You accept it. It's part of your job. It's part of your work. But to lay people like me, it's just absolutely amazing the impact that you have on people's lives. And Dr. Das, I know you're a medical doctor as well, but as a writer, you've impacted people's lives. Tell us what you're hoping readers will take away from the parallels between Niccolo Bardi and your character in the book, Dr. Rudy.
Yes, I just have this idea that both of them struggled. Niccolo Bardi started like 14 years old when he lost his father, and he had to, earn and, provide for his mother and sister who was abandoned by her husband. And other side, I see Rudy, who struggled from the very beginning childhood. He didn't had opportunity to go to school at first, but then somebody took pity on him. He used to sell fruit at the fruit stand, and then struggling hard to get some money to help his family. And that's the way he started. And then the way he lived, through the school and college, that, he used to tutor somebody and used to have, in exchange, had some place to live. And then there was I had given example that where he used to live, had this place to live, there was this next very close to it, there was a burning heart. The people used to come to the dead bodies and burn there, and people used to mourn, and and there's the smell will come, and he was living in that condition to carry on his school and college. And then he came to medical school. That was also a struggle. So he passed, and then again he went to England with nothing in hand and with a briefcase or a small bag, and he started his life. So it's amazing. And then Niccolo Bardi also had done that. He had to provide his mother, but somehow, and he was being criticized, and he was very sincere and very much in the art. But if anybody said anything that against his art, he will just throw the money to them and then say, just let's get a hammer, I'll break this sculpture. So anyway, this is the way he lived. I mean, he was a very distinguished personality, and he I just made this little fantasy with the Medici family, but there was none in his biography. This is my own creation that I did it. So it's amazing how he did it and struggled and got there where still his legacy will be going on. And he is the first person who made the sculpture to stand without support. Can you believe it? And this is amazing. I mean, Michelangelo was very great, but he himself also said that admired Niccolo Bardi. So it's, and also this expression. You see his children; they are really children, and not the adults in a children's dress. You see their expression, and when I saw the David of Niccolo Bardi and David compared to Michelangelo. When I see David there in the museum, it's such an expression, like it's so he was like a 14-year-old boy. It looks like a boy. He looks like a boy. He just he killed Goliath, but he was a boy who killed that. And so you see his expression. He is shy, little bit, that with the grace of God, he knew that I couldn't do it myself. The grace of God, his head is little down and with a smile, because he's the winner. He had done this, but he was shy. That it's with the grace of the God. It's amazing. I just I'm just more carried away with this all this little thing of Niccolo Bardi's sculpture. And
it's such an amazing character study as well. The type of passion that Niccolo Bardi had, where he threatened to destroy the statue if it wasn't right. I think, in part, if you're going to reach a very high level of greatness, you have to have that kind of passion, don't you think?
Yes. And actually, this is my own words. So I created that word. But I think most probably he thought about it. The creativity is like a stream flowing through our body. The person who possesses it, he is the one who knows how to handle it and how to do, get it in proper channel. So of course, those lines, he never said it. It's never written in any book or biography. I searched so much, but nothing. But it is my own conclusion. I did it and I wrote it. But it's I think that is I think that he used to think that way. I mean, he could do anything with his hand, actually.
Yeah. Well, I think you connecting the dots of history is an important part of being a writer. You interpreting it, you analyzing it. So I think that's appropriate, and I think it's likely true, your assessment. Dr. Sengupta, let me ask you a little bit about what it was like when you first read this book. Were you sent it chapter by chapter? Did you get the entire book once it was complete? Tell us a little bit about that.
I must say, I was amazed how I'm a doctor and she was a doctor, but I know only one thing, how to do the neurosurgery. But I did not know how she could get so much of talent, knowing all the history of Italy and the history of all these things, and such in great detail. She must have visited a lot of places and also seen a lot of, but I only visited all over the world only to learn neurosurgery. But nothing else was in my mind, only one thing. But she has learned so much. And it was, I read it, every chapter of it, and then I was amazed at what a good information that I learned from that book, and about the history of Renaissance and history of many things. So being a doctor, that she has got such a talent, I admire her for that.
Absolutely. She's a Renaissance woman, to borrow a phrase, right, for sure, because she's very, very well-rounded, a wonderful novelist, a talented a poet, and also a very, very experienced and talented doctor, medical doctor as well. Dr. Das, let me ask you, themes of love and family are important in this book. Tell us a little bit about how they play out in the lives of Niccolo and Rudy.
Well, Niccolo Bardi was very, very much attached to his mother and sister, and so he always tried to, get in, tell his mother what he's doing, and he'll care. And when his mother passed away, he was just absolutely out of, he stopped his sculpture, sculpting. and everything. So he was so much attached to his mother and sister. And of course, Rudy character, I showed that he was so concerned about his family. He used to sell fruit. I cannot believe it, that he used to sell fruit, and he used to help. At that time he was just a boy, actually. Didn't go to school, but he was sincerely doing whatever he could do. Is to help his family and also help himself also with that. So that's what I think. And then all along he has somehow helped at his surrounding. So it is very important that that the family is the prime thing for both of the character. So that's what I could tell.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tell us about the challenges that your character Rudy faced when he left India and started a new life in England.
Oh, in the book I wrote that he was actually, I just little bit my imagination that he met an Italian friend there in that SS Roma, the ship. And then he actually introduced him to the Renaissance period, and he, as if he was working in the academia in Italy. So he got interested in that. And then when he reached England, he didn't have anything. Somehow, by chance, he met somebody, and he asked that they gave him a place for one night or two. He live there because he doesn't have a money. Actually, we all went to England like that, 2 bags and 7 pounds or 7.5 pounds each landed. So, but his was different because there was nobody there. And then somehow he went for one after another. He was interviewing the people are being selected, and he was, he didn't get it. So one person, somebody took pity on him, and he said that maybe in Manchester you go and you might find somebody in Manchester. Luckily he met some Indian person who was a doctor and established, and he said, okay, I'll take you to, you are not going to get in here in the Manchester because local doctors are here. So he was, and he didn't, another thing, he didn't take any training, and he was very nervous what he's going to do, because he doesn't know. He knows that the knowledge is there of the medicine, but there's no practical thing. So that was another difficulty. So how he managed from that, and he used to ask the nurses were very strong there, and they know very well, and then so he used to ask the nurses, how do you do this in this part of the world? So, and they took pity on him. So I think it's an amazing example how he managed in England first without knowing and not having anything with him, actually. And so, and also he was, I did some flashback because he's remembering his childhood and country, and he left. When you leave your country, there some it's such a pain. I cannot tell you. I felt it, mostly he felt it. It just goes, everything like gone forever.
And it's 180 degrees different. My wife emigrated from China when she graduated college, and the immigrant experience that you described was very, very true for her as well. Her father had saved up 800 American dollars. That's all she had to travel to the United States. She stayed on couches at people's homes from the good-heartedness of different professors that she met at Columbia, and made her way and became a citizen and built a life here in the United States, and suffered and enjoyed the same experiences that you describe. Dr. Sengupta, I know that Dr. Das's novel is just that, a novel, but how does Rudy's experiences emigrating from India to England correlate with your own?
Well, in fact, I was a refugee from country to country, because In fact, I was born in a place called Chittagong, which is, when I was born, it was a part of India. But when I was growing up, it was a part of East Pakistan. And then East Pakistan, being a minority, East Pakistan did not have an opportunity of higher study. So I became refugee again to Calcutta, which is a part of India. And then again, my ambition was such that I could not do any postgraduate education because I could not have pay for the education. So I heard that if you go to England, you can earn and learn both at the same time, because you can work in the National Health Service, and then at the same time you can take Royal College exams and you become a surgeon. So I just took a ship, as Maya has mentioned, which is the cheapest way to go to England at that time. I borrowed money from friends and people, and then Italian ship and entered into Genoa. From there, we took a boat train, and then I went to London. But at that time, I thought that as soon as I go there, I will get a job, because the National Health Service at that time was looking for a lot of doctors from abroad. But I found that I was competing with all the Indian doctors and foreign doctors who were highly qualified. So whereas I did not have any basic training, although I became a doctor, but I did not have any postgraduate training. So I had a great struggle to find a job. And this is a big, interesting story, which will take hours to narrate. But I will say that with the help of some acquaintance, that accidentally I just found a job in Manchester. And then it was difficult to get one job after the other. You have got to compete with all so many of the doctors. And then I went to Newcastle to do a surgical job, which other doctors do not like, accident and emergency. And because it is a hard work, but not very rewarding work-wise. Right. So I worked there. And then I wanted to be a surgeon, but I was not getting a surgical job. And then this is the struggle that I found. But eventually I realized that I end up in neurosurgery by accident. And then when I realized what is the beauty of brain and at operation, then I become a neurosurgeon. So I traveled all over the world with the support of my wife, that she said that you go ahead and I will manage. So her sacrifice made me possible to go all over the world to learn neurosurgery from other surgeons. And that is the way. Then at the end, this is the way that I became a neurosurgeon.
Wonderful. It's a wonderful story. It's a remarkable story. It's a story of pure determination, that you had a goal and you were going to achieve it one way or another. The obstacles put in your path by your homeland were not going to stand in the way. The obstacles put in your path by your new country, England, weren't going to stand in your way either. It's a great story. Dr. Das, before we leave you today, I know you're a very prolific writer. Are you working on anything new right now? Tell us about your work.
Yes, I'm working on another short story. I've been working on few stories I've already done, and then I'm doing some more, so to publish another short story book. And so it will be, I don't know when I will finish, at least 10 stories or 10 or 12 stories. So it will be done most probably a year or from now.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're looking forward to the release of that book as well. The name of this book is Echoes of the Past by Dr. Maya Mitra. It is a captivating novel that intertwines the lives of two distinguished men, Niccolo Bardi, a Renaissance Italian sculptor, and Rudy, a 20th century neurosurgeon in England. And that character of Rudy, of course, is based on Dr. Robin Sengupta. At least in part. It's a novel, of course, but it was inspiration for Dr. Das in writing her book. Thank you both for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
It's a great honor.
The
Thank you.
the honor's all mine. Like I said, what I do is nothing compared to what you guys do. So God
Thank
bless you and thank you for your hard work and your
you.
dedication. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on
Thank you.
Spotlight.